seating.
There's some seating.
Do you guys want drinks?
We'll find the seats first. Let's go back. Where are we going?
Thank you all for being here. We currently do not have a sound system, so we're going to be speaking up, so just so you guys are aware. So again, today is a very special day. It's been a whirlwind of events happening. We've enjoyed every minute of it. We've been looking forward to this since March 1st, 2011, like I said earlier. The three guys who actually started this whole thing, John, Frank, and Alex. Without them, none of this would have happened. And we're very thankful for them. You guys mind standing up just so everyone can give you a round of applause. These three guys, they decided that it was time for a third fraternity at Oglethorpe University. We have Sigma Alpha Epsilon, we have Chi Phi, but it was time for Kappa Sigma to take over on this campus. So they got going on it, and here we are today. This is a day we've been looking forward to for a very long time, and I think when this day is over, not only can we look back and see the whole hard work that we've done, we can also look forward about the great future that we have and the tradition of excellence that we're going to start here. So again, I thank you all for being here. I thank you for everyone who's played a part in this. We couldn't have done any of this without all 34 of us. And so there have been a lot of people who have helped us through this journey, but one in particular is Terry Thompson. And he's going to come up next and tell us, talk about a little bit about what's going on with the facility journey we've got.
I must say this is a very monumental day, not only for Kappa Sigma, but also for Emory. Too early. My next stop is at Emory. To have a chapter of Kappa Sigma at one of Georgia's oldest schools, and by my calculation, I think Oglethorpe is maybe the second or third oldest school, maybe the second oldest school in the state of Georgia, and it's long overdue. So, you know, ever how long it is, I'm just glad and happy that Kappa Sigma has finally found a home here at Oglethorpe University. I'm very proud that it's in my district. I'm very pleased and look forward to working with you guys in the future. I think, as I've said before, this is just the simple beginning of a tremendously great thing here at Oglethorpe. People ask me why do you do what you do as district grand master? It's a lot of work. Yeah, it's a lot of work. I have 6 chapters throughout Central Georgia, from Millersville, Georgia to Columbus, Georgia, and 4 chapters here in Atlanta. Emory, Georgia State, Georgia Tech, and now the Oglethorpe chapter. For Beta Sigma. Beta. Why I do what I do relates back to my beginnings at Kappa Sigma. My district grand master was a guy named by the name of Dr. James Johnson, Jim Johnson. I don't know, Greg, if you remember him or not. He was DGM for me when I was a pledge coming up, and I will never forget Dr. Johnson. He was my DGM, and unbeknownst to me, took me under his wing as I was a pledge. And really, he was at that time, the leading OBGYN doctor in Nashville, from Nashville, Tennessee. And he sort of took me under his wing to sort of guide me into leadership of Kappa Sigma. And I'll never forget, one of the first meetings I ever had, as a pledge, he said, come with me, meet me in Nashville, pick me up, we're going to go to dinner. Okay. Go to dinner, we're going to go to McDonald's or Chili's. No, we go to the Belmont Country Club, where he is, the coup de grace of the Belmont Country Club. I'm like, this little pledge from Cumberland University in a grand country club. And sitting with us, and I'm just a wet behind the ears pledge, is a gentleman by the name of Bert Early and Fred Russell, legends that I would come to know in Kappa Sigma. I'm sitting there and taking in the spirit of Kappa Sigma. And after we get done with dinner and everything, Doc is just, he was full of Kappa Sig spirit, and he said, "What, you know, I thought, why are you doing this?" He goes, "I see something in you that I want you to pass along to future generations beyond you." And so that's why I do what I do, SDG. One of the people that I met that night was Fred Russell. He was the leading sports writer for the Nashville Banner and the Nashville Tennessee in Nashville. Passed away a few years ago. And I was looking up at one of the old caduceus from headquarters, and it struck me when he was Man of the Year in 1983, he had this quote about being a Kappa Sig and what it means, the qualities of being successful in life. And he said, being where we ought to be, when we ought to be there, and doing what we ought to do when it ought to be done are among the greatest factors of success. Beyond spectacular performance and pleasing personality, there is a premium on the dependability that no other quality of character can replace. And that's being where you ought to be, being dependable. And I hope that, you know, I try to be as dependable, to make myself dependable to you guys as possible. Dr. Johnson passed away about 5 or 6 years ago. And I will never forget Dr. Johnson. He is probably my leading inspiration for Kappa Sigma, so much so that to this day, around me is card. He is why I do what I do. I love you guys. I work with you guys going forward. Wish you the best of luck. Amen.
Hi everyone. It's a very good day at Oglethorpe. I think that, you know, we're all gathering here to celebrate what 34 of us have done. What we've managed to do is incredible. It's been decades since a new chapter has been initiated and has been installed at Oglethorpe University. And the reason why it's been decades is that it's hard. It takes a lot of commitment. And a lot of us, you know, we said we would stick through the end. And, you know, look at us now. We're celebrating with our friends and family, so it is a beautiful day at Oglethorpe. We are blessed to have a lot of supporters within our faculty and our staff. And even those who have left Oglethorpe University consistently support us. And no one has done that as Dr. Manny Patillo. He was former president of Oglethorpe University 36 years ago. And 36 years ago, am I right? I think it's 36. From 30, no? What is it?
From 1975 to 1988.
A long time ago.
25 years ago.
And
Teach arithmetic.
we have core now. No math. No math required. I'm a political major. Well, Dr. Manny Patillo had a dream of establishing a Kappa Sigma at Oglethorpe. And it wasn't until last year that we had a dream of establishing a Kappa Sigma. And since he's heard about it, he's been there, he's been helping us morally, financially, anything that we need that we can turn to Dr. Patillo. And so I would love for you all to welcome Dr. Patillo.
Well, the festivities today take my mind back almost 3/4 of a century to January 1938, when I was initiated into the fraternity. And I've always been proud of being a Kappa Sigma, and I know that the new initiates will be too. And for the last third of that period of time, I have looked forward to the day when we might have a chapter of the fraternity here at Oglethorpe. During my time, we had 3 fraternities, SAE, Chi Phi, and Kappa Alpha, and one of which is now gone, I think. But we didn't have an opportunity to have a chapter at that point. But this is a great day, and I'd like to congratulate all of those who had a hand in making it happen. In particular, we're delighted to have with us the worthy grand scribe from the National Fraternity and the District Grand Master, and we're pleased and honored that both of them could be with us today. I would remind the chapter that you have a sister organization on this campus. I hope you're aware of that. Chi Omega Sorority, which has been through the years a very strong chapter of women at Oglethorpe. And Chi Omega, which was established at the University of Arkansas in 1995, was modeled on Kappa Sigma. Their legal documents actually were often verbatim, I think, modeled on the Kappa Sigma. So that you have good friends here, and I hope you'll promote that friendship. My own fraternity experience was a very happy one, and through my career as a college administrator, I've always kept in mind what a good experience I had as a Kappa Sigma at Sewanee, Omega chapter, and it showed me what the potential could be for fraternity life. Fraternity life does not always live up to that, to be sure, but that's the potential, that's what it can be, and that's what we have always hoped at Oglethorpe that fraternities and sororities would be. The Sewanee chapter was always small. During my day, it had about 20 students in it. We had 8 fraternities on the campus. All the fraternities were rather small in those days, but it had distinguished graduates and certainly provided a wonderful experience to those who were members. There are certain hazards about fraternity life, and where fraternities have done badly, it seems to me it's been for 3 reasons primarily. Excessive drinking, sometimes in some chapters on some campuses, chapters have done badly because of heavy drinking, or the use of illegal drugs, or hazing. Those are the 3 hazards that we who are interested in fraternities have to look out for, I think, and avoid if we can. But the National Fraternity has set high standards. I read the caduceus regularly from cover to cover, and I note that the National Fraternity emphasizes 3 things that I think are important and should guide this chapter as it goes forward from this point. And those are scholarship, leadership, and contributions to the campus and to the community. These are 3 emphases of the National Fraternity that I see in the caduceus as I read it. And I think if you will try to live up to those standards and achieve those goals, you will be a great chapter of a great fraternity. Congratulations.
If you haven't realized it yet, I am your host.
What?
We're going to switch up a little on our program because there's a, speaking of Chi Omega, there's a Chi Omega formal, so the president of Chi Omega will speak now instead of with the other group organizations. So please help me in welcoming Katie Catherine Sandra Muller.
Good evening, everyone. Like I said, my name is Katie Muller, and I am the president of Chi Omega. Most of you probably don't know, but one of our 5 founders was a Kappa Sigma, so we definitely have a soft spot for you guys. We're really excited to have them on campus. It's nice to mix it up a little bit, because I know that guys tend to fall into a couple stereotypes in here, so it's nice to break the mold and have you guys are a great group of guys. So we're definitely just really excited to welcome you guys, and really congratulations. It's a great day. I know you guys are going to have an awesome time, but congratulations and welcome.
I think it's the new heels they're creating. I think one thing that is one stereotype of the Kappa Sigma at Old Brook University is that we have reached a balance with our education and the amount of fun we have. I think that a lot of people can attest to that. And I would like to invite someone who knows a little bit about education, the provost of Oglethorpe University, Dr. Von Harmon.
Thank you. I'm so excited, first of all, to bring greetings from President Larry Shaw, who wasn't able to be with us tonight, but asked that I extend his congratulations and tell you how pleased he is to have this chapter established here at Oglethorpe University. As Awet said, I have been following the establishment of the Kappa Sigma chapter very closely, and I have noted with great pleasure the high grade point averages that the members of this newly establishing chapter have managed to maintain. But I also have a very personal connection, and I thought it would be fun to kind of share with you why I'm so excited for Kappa Sigma being established here. My own father, in 1952, pledged to Kappa Sigma at Washington and Jefferson College. And while his experience in many ways was like the experience that you young men are going through, his was also very different. He was part of a chapter that included an awful lot of returning soldiers who had just come back from their time in the war. Many of these soldiers were young married men. And so I love hearing the stories as a child from both my mother and my father about Kappa Sigma, about the things that they did with the chapter. I would always look for and read the caduceus when it came to the house, was always really interested in that. A second connection that I have with you that I recognize what a special day this is that I was a founding member of my chapter of Kappa Kappa Gamma at Washington and Jefferson College, where my father attended, 30 years later in the 1980s. And so I've been through the very process that you young men have gone through, of trying to get a new chapter started, working with the national organization, and I recognize what an extraordinary amount of work it was. And so I'm all the more pleased that you've been able to maintain your focus on education. We all know that Kappa Sigma supports the fact that you are here for a degree. You're here to get an education. That is first and foremost. But as Awet mentioned, it's about having a balance between that education and striving and working hard to earn good grades and having a good time and serving the community. So again, I'm very pleased on behalf of Oglethorpe University to extend our heartiest congratulations. Great job, gentlemen.
One year ago, a lot of us were not Greek. We thought that being Greek wasn't for us. What wasn't for us was that we didn't have Kappa Sigma. And while we have two other fraternities on campus, the journey of finding a fraternity for us was harder than any other journey that any other Greek life took. And I would like to invite Danny Glassman on behalf of our Greek director, Barbara Bears, who is not able to attend, to come speak on our behalf.
Hello, everyone. I am honored to get to be here to speak on behalf of Barbara Barris, the Assistant Director of Residence Life and Greek Affairs. She is so sad that she can't be here tonight. I'm going to channel her as much as I can with all of you, because her excitement, her enthusiasm to to have Kappa Sigma as a part of the Greek community is infectious. So I want to share with you what she has written as a letter from her to you. I'm going to start with a little bit of words from me and then go into words from her. It's my privilege to speak today to honor the accomplishments of the newest addition to our university Greek community, Kappa Sigma. It brings me great joy to have witnessed the commitment to the founding fathers of our chapter of Kappa Sigma, who have taken an idea in thought and turned it into actual reality. As Thomas Jefferson once said, "The glow of one warm thought is to me worth more than money." What each of you have accomplished in bringing another outstanding fraternal organization to our campus is indeed priceless, and for that I want to thank and congratulate each of you. You are adding to the great living and learning community here at Oglethorpe, and have and will continue to make a difference in our campus life. I look forward to all of your contributions and achievements as you continue to grow and develop here at Oglethorpe. This really is the start to a completely new chapter for Oglethorpe. The pun is intended. And with that, each of you will help Oglethorpe continue to write its history. Barbara Barris, of course, is not able to be here today, but she's asked me to share these words. When I think of today, I cannot help but smile. I smile with admiration for 34 gentlemen who have worked to make their dreams a reality and bring the brotherhood of Kappa Sigma fraternity to the Oglethorpe University campus. I smile with happiness. And after all the hard work, we stand here today at the installation banquet of Kappa Sigma. I smile with pride that I'm able to be an advisor to these gentlemen and work with them on a daily basis. Today is about recognizing the dedication, hard work, service, and perseverance of a group of men who saw that our current Greek community needed to grow and embarked on the challenge to create a new fraternity. I have observed as they have overcome every obstacle and hurdle put in front of them, and they've done it in stride. I've witnessed their service in this school and their community. I have witnessed as they have instilled their passion and commitment to the ideals of Kappa Sigma and our Greek community. I could not be more proud of their efforts, of each of the new brothers who stand before us today. This ceremony should not only be about recognizing our Oglethorpe University students, but also about saying congratulations to the Kappa Sigma fraternity for initiating 34 outstanding individuals. By initiating these gentlemen into your brotherhood, you have gained scholars, you've gained athletes, student leaders, community and school volunteers. Really, you've gained Oglethorpe's cream of the crop. You could not have asked for better individuals to continue the name and service of Kappa Sigma. Thank you for recognizing the potential of each of our students and believing in them and trusting in them with your ritual and your history. We are honored to welcome Kappa Sigma to the Oglethorpe University community. So in closing, I want to say congratulations. I am deeply saddened by the fact that I can't be here today, but I hope that these words really do exemplify how incredibly happy I am for each of you and this accomplishment you deserve today. Do not forget to take a second to realize that each of you are part of Oglethorpe history. You are the founding fathers of a new fraternity on our campus. Pat yourselves on the back, be proud, smile, because again, you deserve this. Today is about you, about Kappa Sigma, and about the teamwork it took to get here. I am thanking and thinking of each of you and smiling today because I could not be more proud of each of you. We are now a community of 3 fraternities and 6 Greek letter organizations. Welcome home, Kappa Sigma, and welcome to the Greek community. Thanks so much.
Okay. Thank you, Danny. One thing that we've all managed to do is, someone once told me that we run the school. But I said we love the school. Because if I said, who has been in SGA that is in Oglethorpe, that is in Kappa Sigma? Stand up. Who has served as captain of their sport teams? Stand up. Stand up. If I said, who is involved in theater? Who is involved in every part of service organizations that we do at Oglethorpe with the Center for Civic Engagement? Stand up. This is a group of guys that Oglethorpe is proud to have because we are so involved and we love this school. And no one can attest to that as Director of Student Leadership and Activities, Ms. Kendra Hunter.
Good evening. Well, Awet pretty much took my speech. As Awet said, I'm the Director of Student Leadership and Activities here. I've been here since March of last year. So during my entire time at Oglethorpe, this process has been occurring. And I look around the room at all of the gentlemen, and I see and think of all the things that you guys are involved in. Please know that these are heavily involved students in every aspect of the university, and I'm so proud that this day has come. My charge to you guys, the hard work is not over. You've established yourselves, now you need to remain. Keep your good reputation, be good leaders, and keep up the hard work to recruit people year after year so that Kappa Sigma is here throughout all of Oglethorpe's history. So congratulations, know that I'm here for you. You need help with any event, or you need me to chase down some speakers that maybe aren't here. Unfortunately, I was not successful. Just let me know, and good luck, and congratulations.
It's me again. Jimmy, too. Oh, one thing that Terry told us last year, and also Lemister as well, that we needed to do was be involved in service. Be involved in every aspect that needs help. Show that Kappa Sigma cares about the campus. Every time we have an OU Day of Service, I love it when I see a group of Kappa Sigmas on one side, and it's like, you know, you see everyone else that's just coming in from whatever, but I just see a handful of my brothers giving back to the school and to the community. Oglethorpe's blessed to have a Center for Civic Engagement. Not a lot of schools can say that they have that center, which is dedicated to bettering the community. And Oglethorpe is blessed to have someone like Tamara Nash leading that center. And so I would like to invite Ms. Tamara Nash to talk a little bit about service.
Good evening.
Good evening.
First, I'd like to apologize for my very casual attire. I've been racing all day, and I raced here in jeans. I would not normally come to an event of this stature dressed this way, so forgive my attire. I am so proud of these young men. Awet stole part of what I was going to do, and so did Kendra. However, I do have a little nugget that I want to share with you, but first I want to say, would the men please stand who are members of this esteemed organization, because what I would like to point out to everyone is that every single one of these young men is actively involved on campus. They are committed to service with a capital S, and they are compassionate, intelligent, dedicated intellectuals. And they represent Oglethorpe, they represent this new fraternity, and they represent their communities and their families every single day with pride and joy. So I would like us to applaud them. As the first director of the Center for Civic Engagement, I have the honor and the privilege of working with every student at Oglethorpe who is involved in community service. On this campus and in the community, I am delighted that I can look at each one of these young men and tell you honestly that they truly are dedicated servant leaders. And if you're not familiar with that term, the concept has everything to do with taking the role of leadership very seriously and understanding that to serve involves great leadership. And that when you have the opportunity to help someone else on this campus or in the community, you also benefit greatly from that opportunity. It is mutually beneficial to serve. As a member of a sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, who pledged at the undergraduate level, and I'm a member of the charter line, I know the value, I know how exciting, I know the demands of chartering a chapter and being a member of that first chapter on the campus. And when you do that, that not only comes with blood, sweat, and tears, it comes with great pride and strength and courage. And so when we applaud these young men, we are applauding them for taking a big step, and we know that they will leave a legacy. And legacy is important. We want you to be sustainable. And so everything that you do every day will make the difference for the next generation that comes after you. I thought I would leave you with one of my favorite quotes from a man who was also a member of a fraternity, and that was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He was a member of Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity when he pledged at Morehouse College, which is not very far from here. And this is the quote: "Everybody can be great because anybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. However, we want you to get a college degree. You don't have to make your subject and verb agree to serve. However, we want your subject and your verb to agree. You only need a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love." These gentlemen have hearts full of grace and souls generated by love. They are servant leaders. They will continue to make us proud. We applaud you. Thank you.
As we said earlier, that we share this campus with 2 other fraternities and 3 wonderful sororities. And one that I will call up is Sigma Sigma Sigma, who is also very much related to Kappa Sigma. So I welcome Sonia Myers of Sigma Sigma Sigma.
Hi, my name is Sonia Myers, as you said, and I'm the president of Sigma 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 here at Oglethorpe University. First off, I would like to congratulate the men of Kappa Sigma on behalf of all of the Sisters of Sigma. I cannot imagine how proud and relieved you must feel to have reached this point. The Oglethorpe community as a whole will benefit greatly from such a dedicated and strong brotherhood. We, as Greek men and women, are united by our similar core values, our high standards of conduct and of character, and our commitment to furthering ourselves and others through good work. I was reminded of this just earlier this afternoon as I helped initiate our new spring member class. Sigma's ritual, written, as I'm sure a lot of you know, by a Kappa Sigma brother, James Miller Leake, which holds a lot of meaning for me as a Sigma and as a member of the larger Greek community, which should work together to uphold those values and those high standards among us all. With that in mind, I welcome Kappa Sigma to our campus and look forward to seeing you grow and thrive in our Greek community. Thank you for inviting me to speak, and congratulations to all of you.
The last Greek organization in our hall is one that has aided us from the beginning. When we started this journey last year, spring semester, Allison Abercrombie was the president of AST. And the AST Sisterhood has been there helping us with whatever we needed. If it was material for something, if it was plates or whatever, we knew that we could always go and knock on the doors of the AST house, and they would always generously help us in that. And this year, that has continued with Joette as the president of AST. So I'm not going to say a lot, but I would like to invite Joette on behalf of ASC sorority.
Good evening, everyone. Today is a very special day for Oglethorpe, and I'm so honored to be asked by Wet to speak up here on behalf of Alpha Sigma Tau. Not only is Alpha Sigma Tau so excited to enhance our Greek population, but we're even so more excited to have another chapter on campus that shares the same ideals as us, and that's leadership, service, and scholarship. Those three things are absolutely things that Alpha Sigma Tau, and for myself and on behalf of the whole organization, very much pride and take pride into our organization. So on behalf of Alpha Sigma Tau, we congratulate you guys. And could I actually have the vice president or president of Alpha Sigma? We have a letter of recommendation for you guys that some of our sisters can sign.
Unexpected gift. That was nice. Thank you so much. Well, I've talked a lot about a lot of people that have helped us throughout this journey. And I think that to become a founding father, to successfully become a founding father, you must have a successful and patient alumni advisor. Giving you tough love when you need it. When I say tough, it's like tough love. And giving you encouragement when you need it. And we are very blessed to have a man that has been very patient and two men that have been very patient. Our alumni advisor and assistant alumni advisor. So I'll call first the alumni advisor, Matt A. Bemister.
So every time, and I'll give a little backstory, every time that I've attended an initiation and had an opportunity to speak, I never read the speech before. I always sit at the table, write my thoughts down, and utilize what I've seen throughout the day. Recognizing the men that have achieved very much, watching their concerns or nervousness turn into a washover of emotion and feelings, recognizing they individually achieved greatness by stepping into this order, but also watching one turn to 4, 10, 15 to 34, and at the end of the day, be able to see them link arms together and understand the true value of brotherhood. So my speech today is really on two parts. One, tell you the joys of being an alumnus advisor. Secondly, address the parents, and certainly give a message to our new brothers. So, parents, thank you for being here. Oglethorpe administration, thank you for what it seems to be a loving and supporting relationship to Kappa Sigma. And I can tell you that our fraternity appreciates the open arms and support that you've shown these men. Welcome, new brothers, and welcome alumni that are here. I was initiated in 2002 at Western Carolina, the Xi Sigma chapter. My chapter was started in 2001, so I had the remnants and the opportunity to come in at a new chapter, but I'm certainly jealous that I don't have the name Founding Father. Somehow I just didn't hear about it, or I was too busy playing rugby, but I had my opportunity to come in and I took full advantage. My journey in Kappa Sigma is one of two things. I've had the esteemed privilege to work for the Kappa Sigma fraternity. I was an area recruitment manager from 2007 to 2010. My job was to impact Kappa Sigma 2 ways. Our existing chapters, providing them education, skills, and tools to rush and retain quality individuals, and certainly have the opportunity to create Kappa Sigma, whether it was not a chapter. So I've seen it full circle, and so when I come as an alumnus advisor, I think I have a little bit more fuel to the fire with these men. One thing that they said was patience. You do have to have patience. This is taking a group of 18 to 22-year-olds and helping them start a business. If you know anything about fraternity life, if you were a member yourself, or if this is your first time hearing about Greek life, creating a fraternity, your individual child, your son, is a small business owner and very successful. Marketing, sales, operations, finance, the things that they're learning in school are being put to use. So to see 34 men standing here, successful, be proud. And it makes it very easy to be an alumnus advisor because the quality of individuals that are in this chapter are top notch. I was just talking to Terry before I came up here, and I just said, I'm just amazed. Just with the quality of individuals from freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, it is certainly a privilege to be an alumnus advisor. What makes it even better is that I have an assistant alumnus advisor, Andrew Bartlett, who is my right-hand man, working with Terry, having the assistance of the Kappa Sigma fraternity, makes it truly a pleasure. My wife, on the other hand, certainly doesn't understand how much time I can devote to the fraternity, but she's slowly learning after 6 years of being together that it's a passion, and I love impacting young men with the opportunity to learn Kappa Sigma, be a Kappa Sigma, and be successful. So, as I said, my address to the parents. Parents, be very proud of your son today, what they've accomplished, what their future looks like for the next 3 years, 4 years, to when they get a job. I will tell you to invest in Kappa Sigma. When you get invested, I see a lot more open door opportunities for them to get engaged with this organization. Ask questions. We won't tell you what the ritual's about, but you can certainly try, but we're locked down like Fort Knox. So, carry pride that you know your son has done something great, which most people probably try to shy away from. They've taken the intrinsic need and value that was not here and found it in an organization that match and mirrors some of the values that you've taught them. And know that they're going to take the values that you've given them and take them even further to what our organization provides them. So as you walk out, hug your son, tell him how proud you are, as my dad does, and know that his path is very bright. Now, to my new brothers of Sigma Beta, seeing you guys, having the opportunity to walk in for the first informational meeting and seeing the 12 guys that showed up, walking away, meeting the first 3 founding fathers, you never know what you're going to get. I've started over 40, 50 something odd chapters in 3 years, so it's kind of a 50-50 chance. But having the opportunity to work with them from day one, to seeing where they are today, has been just an absolute pleasure, and I'm very proud to be your alumnus advisor. I'm proud to welcome you as Kappa Sigma, because that's really the end result. So I'm going to quickly give you, let me turn my napkin. I'm going to give you, I always try to give some words of encouragement, a passion, a drive, but so much floods into me that I ended up sticking with 30 napkins up here, and I don't want to, take any more time, but it's good to see that you have the swagger that you've been looking for. Keep that. keep developing what it is you're looking for, and I can guarantee you that Kappa Sigma will provide that path. Secondly, get engaged as much as you can. The reason why Terry, Josh, Greg, Dr. Tell, Andrew, and the rest of Kappa Sigma have an emotional attachment to this is because Kappa Sigma opened a lot of doors for us, and it continues to do that. So I challenge you to kick open the doors, make life-lasting friendships and bonds together, because as a soon-to-be 30-year-old, an alumni, my true friends are my brothers. Everywhere I go, but specifically knowing that I have gone up and down, sideways, backwards with the men of Kappa Sigma for my chapter, and I know that I look forward to doing the same with you. I'm going to challenge, I guess the second challenge, I want us to win a FACE award next year. I think that that will certainly sum up what everyone's talked about tonight to see if you guys are ready for the challenge. The FACE award is one of our top awards that chapters can receive, and I certainly believe Brother Hunt will address that as well, but after seeing today and sitting down and hearing everyone talk about the successes, certainly I think it's very doable. So we may have to blow out the back wall of the KA, now Kappa Sigma house, to create a Hall of Honor and a Hall of Awards, because I think you guys will be very successful moving forward. So thank you, congratulations, and AKB.
Well, as the next to last speaker, clearly everyone has already taken everything that I was going to say. So I have nothing left, really, so I will just wing it at this point. We are really proud of you guys. As alumni, on April 1st, 2006, I took part in a day like today, like these guys. I was the founding father of my chapter on Macron Iota at Armstrong Atlantic in Savannah, Georgia. And so I can attest to the work that these guys have done, the hours, the weeks, the months. But these 34 guys that are left, because 10, 20 other guys have come and gone. But these guys had the diligence and commitment that Kappa Sigma teaches. And that's why they're here, and that's why we're here. So I'm very proud of these guys and the work they've done. Like I told them Sunday night, Brother Jackson had a dream, and his dream was for Kappa Sigma to become the pride of every college and university in the land. And so today, while it's a dream come true for us all, this isn't the realization of Jackson's dream. This is the beginning. So to become the pride, you have, like we discussed, we have to keep going, we have to keep our grades up. We have to initiate guys like you who are interested in becoming leaders on this campus and after college. So I'm glad to be here. This is my first stint as an alumni advisor, so I appreciate Terry and Matt bringing me on. So, AKB guys.
Hope you're not tired of me yet. Next person that I will be introducing is Gregory S. Hunt, the Kappa Sigma Worthy Grand Scribe. A year ago, like I said, we all started this. Last week, we got approved. And the one that was there inside The meeting room, we're guessing it's some dark meeting room with nice lights, and it's much like this almost, but we're dark, with a lot of candles, and the stamp. And last week, Mr. Gregory has approved Kappa Sigma at Oglethorpe University because he saw the hard work that we put into it. Like Andrew was saying, there's a reason why 10 have come and gone because of what he was saying, diligence and commitment. It takes a lot of commitment. It takes a lot of patience to do what we've done. And Mr. Hunt saw that we had that patience and we had that diligence. And he approved us. So, Mr. Gregory Hunt.
While I would like to take credit for all of that, I'm afraid I can't. There are 5 members of the SEC, and I'm just one. We do have a requirement that we do have to have 5 approval votes to approve a colony for installation, and we did get it. There was no discussion. Their record speaks for itself. One thing I would like to say, I go to a lot of these banquets. I'm with staff members, probably on average maybe at least one a month. And usually we sometimes will, we've had banquets in small corners of a restaurant in downtown Charlottesville. We've had huge banquet halls. I mean, it varies so much. But I always start the speech with welcoming family, friends, and honored guests, and my new brothers. But I will tell you that when I left, when we finished with the initiations and I spoke with them, I told them, I said, there's always that great future that we're looking for from our new colonies. And sometimes we get it and sometimes we don't. But I will just have to tell you, I have never, in my 6 years of going and doing colony and chapter installations, I have never seen the support from the family and the support from the administration. So I would like to thank Brother Patillo, Provost Von Herman, and I enjoyed your story. I love hearing those stories about Kappa Sig encounters, Ms. Nash, Ms. Hunter, and all the family members that are here. You don't realize how good it makes the national fraternity feel, because we don't have a great relationship on every university we go to. Some universities and colleges, they've had a bad experience with fraternities, and they're not very happy. But just the words and the things, I almost walked up here and said, there's been so many good things said. There's really nothing left for me to say. But I appreciate the support, and I appreciate the volunteers. We got Brother Kennedy, Brother Thompson, Matt Bemister, that I've known a long time, Brother Bartlett, and any of the other volunteers that have helped out. You don't realize, undergraduate brothers, you don't realize how big of an influence that these men will have on your life. They will help you find a job in the summertime when you're around here, you're not leaving you're not going out of the country, or you're not going home for the summer. They'll help you find jobs. They'll introduce you to other Kappa Sigma alumni. I have a great story. I majored in history, but I did go to NC State, which is much like Georgia Tech, a very technology school. One of our alumni volunteers is a rocket scientist with NASA. So he called me up one day and he said, look, this was back when the space program was in full swing, and he said, I need 2 rocket scientists. And I thought it was a joke. It wasn't a joke. He really needed 2 rocket scientists. So I put out on our listserv a request for 2 rocket scientists. I didn't know the technical term. I put it out there at NC State and at Chapel Hill. And we had one of those guys that replied to him was hired by NASA.
And that never would have been an opportunity if it had not been for that Kappa Sigma brother. So you're going to have a lot of those experiences. I can tell you stories that I've heard all over the country where one gentleman was in an interview for a Fortune 500 company, and he had gone through numerous interviews and he had made it all the way to the very top. He got to the very last interview, he walked in, and on his resume he had President of Kappa Sigma Fraternity. And the interviewer, sitting across the table from him, said, backed his chair out and said, well, sir, let me ask you a question. And you know, the gentleman being interviewed, he was here it comes. It's going to be something I have no way of answering. The interviewer said, tell me what it was like being the Grand Master. And after he said that, the gentleman being interviewed he was just at ease, he was calm, and he ended up getting a job. And not only because he was in a fraternity, but having Kappa Sigma on his resume made a tremendous difference in that. And I hear those stories, just like I heard from Provost von Herman about her reading the caduceus. We hear stories about people finding the caduceus in an attic of their grandparents that never knew they were Kappa Sigs. And then after they're gone, they start finding all of this history of their family through Kappa Sigma. As a Supreme Executive Committee member, I do get the opportunity to travel, and I do get to see a lot of great things. There are some things that are not so much fun involved in this job, but the founding of a chapter is like the birth of Kappa Sigma, or it's like the rebirth of Kappa Sigma. And as Brother Bartlett was talking about Stephen Alonzo Jackson, we are so proud of Brother Jackson because if it had not been for him, none of us would be here. North Carolina State definitely wouldn't be here, so I wouldn't be sitting here. I was recently at Washington and Lee College when we reinstalled that chapter, and we were walking down the street, exactly the same street that Brother Jackson walked when he was colonizing the small universities, the small colleges in Virginia. So that was very exciting. We all know the history of our founding. We know that our fraternity was founded in Charlottesville, 46 East Lawn, on a snowy, cold winter's evening. And history will tell us that our founders were men of integrity and character. And today, as I looked around, I could see that in the room, and I can see it tonight, and it makes me feel very proud to leave here. I want you to know also that today you're going to embark on a journey. This is the very first day of the history of your chapter. And there are many paths that you can take. I firmly believe that you're going to take the high road, and this is going to be one of our better chapters. Today you're one of more than 16,000 undergraduates and 200,000 living Kappa Sigmas. And that is a record. This year, we officially became the largest fraternity in North America. And that was not an easy job to accomplish. About 10 years ago, some of our members were in Tampa, Florida, and they were trying to decide what we were going to do with the fraternity. Fraternities we were having a lot of problems, the alcohol, and as Brother Petrillo said, the alcohol and drugs were really taking a big toll on us, and the financial part, we were having bad communications and relationships with our universities and colleges. And these gentlemen decided that Kappa Sigma was not going to take the low road. We were going to be number one. At that time, we were about number 6 or 7 in most areas. And we decided we were going to be number one. So they set out and founded the pillars that Brother Petrillo was talking about. And they decided that we needed a code of conduct. And that code of conduct, even though sometimes it looks a little excessive, it is what keeps us here on a lot of our campuses. A lot of universities have developed their own codes of conduct from the things that we put together. And we really feel like that's, sometimes it might seem, you may think it's excessive, but it has saved us over the years. One of my great joys over the past, I would say the past 7 years, has been the Fisher House project and the Military Heroes campaign. Brother Bell, Philip Bell, who was a worthy Grand Master, who is from Barnesville, Georgia, not too far away. I was the Greater Cause, which is our philanthropy arm. I was the commissioner for that. And he called me up and he said, you know, we were kind of winding down in the Iraq War, and a lot of the veterans were coming back, and it was just really starting to make the news. And he felt like, wouldn't it be great if, since we had so many Kappa Sigmas that were either veterans or they were currently serving in the military, wouldn't it be great if we did something and called it the Military Heroes Campaign? And I was a commissioner and he was a national president, and I agreed with him 100%. So then he said, well, since you agree with me, why don't you take that project? So I stepped right into that one. But it has been one of the greatest joys that I've had as a Kappa Sigma. We started the Military Heroes Campaign. Before that, we were not doing any kind of national projects for philanthropy. But when we started that, they decided, the other members of the board decided we needed a national project to kind of get behind. So I started talking with the Intrepid Foundation, and they didn't really have a lot for us to do, but their sister organization, the Fisher House, was looking for, you know, always looking for some donations. So I called up the Fisher House people and I talked to them, and they said, yeah, of course, you know, we would love to have, you know, some fraternities getting involved, and you know, why don't you come up with some plans, and you know, we'll talk with you. So they thought that we would raise $10,000, but we didn't. We raised $100,000. So then we got their attention. And then they said, well, look, if you're going to raise $100,000, we would like you to have some naming rights to a Fisher House. So we started thinking about it, and we decided that we would offer that naming rights to Senator Bob Dole. And I know for the younger people, you've read about Senator Dole, and for some of us others that are not college age, we probably remember when he ran for president. Well, we went to see him, and we talked to him, and I will never forget the thing that he told us as we were leaving. This man, probably 87 years old or so, he works 7 days a week, full-time lawyer, one of the partners in his law firm, barely can stand up because he's had 2 or 3 knee replacements, but this man keeps going. He said, you know, in my lifetime, I have received numerous accolades. Never have I been given anything that means more to me than the Fisher House being named after me. And we really felt like that was a great thing for Kappa Sigma. So we had the Fisher House dedication in Washington, D.C. The president had called an emergency session of Congress, so we didn't have as many of the dignitaries from the White House and from Congress there, but we did have Senator Richard Burr, who is the head of our Military Heroes Campaign, and Senator Dole was there. He came in and he went up, and we were at the Fisher House at the VA Medical Center, and we were having this dinner in the atrium as you walk in the front door. And there were lots of Washington dignitaries and politicians and people, you know, placed to be seen that evening. And Senator Dole gets up at the podium, and he talks about his time in the fraternity house in Kansas and his memories of Kappa Sigma. So that was a very proud moment for us, and I wish that every Kappa Sigma who could have been there to hear it. But as far as philanthropy goes, we're giving this year, in the past academic year, we're right at $1.5 million. We're about 400,000 hours, and we will end up well over our goal of 3,200,000, I believe was the latest adjustment to that. For the biennium in 2 years, we'll hit that. And we will hit 500,000 hours of community service. And that is a tremendous statement that to you, the undergraduates, because the alumni, we will count alumni hours and their volunteer dollars, but we like to focus this mostly around the undergraduates. I want to leave you with a couple of goals, like Brother Bemister was talking about, that I would probably mention to you. I want to leave you with the goals of number 1, remain or reach 50 men, or number 1 in size on your campus. I want you to have at least 2 pledge classes if the university allows that, and an additional pledge class if you can. I want you to remain current with all of your financial obligations to the national fraternity and to local obligations. I want you to send 5 or more brothers to the leadership conference in New Orleans this year. I want you to become one of Jackson's chapters for the Renaissance Campaign and the headquarters. I want you to reach 80% ritual proficiency in the next year with all EC members doing their job. Maintain a grade point average, after all, because we are here for an education, right? That's our main goal here. I want you to maintain an average above the all-men's average. Log in 35 hours per person and $35 per man. Support the Military Heroes campaign and make sure that you register to vote. It's one of the dearest rights that you'll have as a citizen. If you follow these goals, you will be one of the top 20% chapters in the fraternity. And these are not hard goals to reach. All you have to do is follow those minimum goals. Members of the executive committee, I want to applaud you because you have done a great job. This chapter, the things that I see, there is no way that I would hear the things from the university that I would hear tonight if you weren't doing an excellent job. And keep in mind, the future of Sigma Beta is in your hands. What you do with it from today until the end of time is in your hands. You are creating what will be the legacy of this chapter. And for the brothers that were here today from Emory and Southern Poly and Georgia Tech, if any of you are here now, I don't see. Good. The brothers of Sigma Beta, you don't realize it, but the things that you saw, the small nuances and things that you probably didn't detect at the time, those things are things that those chapters have incorporated into your legacy, and it will be here with you for a long time. I guess there's only one other thing to do, right? If I could have the GM and the GP come up here, it's not a whole lot of space. I guess we'd like to get maybe a picture of that. And then we really need to have a picture of this is the letter that comes from the Supreme Executive Committee. And like I was telling them before, I would like to take credit for giving you your charter, but I did vote yes. So I was one of the 5, but I was not the sole person with the charter. So if you want to come on up, let's show you the GP of that and get this. This is your charter.